interesting life story and journey, and sharing as much of your music as we possibly can in the next hour. So we warned you, we like to just throw you in. So whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
Should I introduce it or just start playing?
You can introduce
it. So this is about my love of the South, basically. I grew up in the Midwest. Surely it wasn't the best. First we moved to the South, then we headed to Philly. But the South is a place I know I can call home, and the one place I never have to be alone, where the tea is so much sweeter and the grass is always greener, and I can always find a friend when I'm in need. And there's no need for pedigree or questions about my family tree. And if it all works out, tomorrow I'll be in the South, back home where I belong. We sold our house on the hill, and packing was a thrill. And we hit the road, said goodbye to Philly. But the South is a place I know I can call home, and the one place I never have to be alone, where the tea is so much sweeter and the grass is always greener, and I can always find a friend when I'm in need. And there's no need for pedigree or questions about my family tree. And if it all works out, tomorrow I'll be in the South, back home where I belong. Now I sit on the porch and play tunes outside by the moon, glad to be free and glad to be me and not in Philly. Yes, the South is a place I know I can call home, and the one place I never have to be alone, where the tea is so much sweeter and the grass is always greener, and I can always find a friend when I'm in need. And there's no need for pedigree or questions about my family tree. And it all worked out. Right now I'm in the South, back home where I belong.
Sandra Lawson, that is a song that I think a lot of people can probably identify with.
Yeah.
When did you write that?
I actually started. So I lived in Philadelphia for about 7 years, and I did not want to stay in the Northeast, and I knew that I would come back to the South, and a lot of my professors and rabbi friends like, why would you do that? And I said, because racism is everywhere, and in the South, I actually know where it is. I'm going to tell a story. When my wife and I, Susan, went to Atlanta with me, where I used to live, to visit some friends, and we went on a run, and she saw a Confederate flag. And she came back. She said, that's a Confederate flag. And I was like, see, you know not to go there. She's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, no, true story. You know, I lived in Chicago for quite some time. And you're right. You think you go north of whatever line is being drawn that day. And it's everywhere all the time between the zoning and all of that. Yeah. Well, that song was a thrill.
But anyway, to answer your question, I started writing this in Philadelphia, but I didn't actually finish it until like a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Love that.
Well, Sandra, I was, as I told you, reading up on your interesting history, which started in St. Louis in a, what did you say, non-active Christian household or something like that.
No, that's what Wikipedia says. Wikipedia has a lot of incorrect
you didn't write
information.
Wikipedia. No. And so, but you became attracted to Judaism, and tell us a little bit about how that happened.
Yeah, I have a really good friend who's a rabbi, and a really good friend. We've been friends for over 20 years, and I went to his synagogue, and now I'm a rabbi.
And I think there's it might surprise a lot of people that there are, I think I read maybe 1,000 women rabbis. And,
I don't know. I don't know the number, but there's
some
a lot
people,
of women. There's a lot of women rabbis.
Some people don't think think rabbis are by nature men, and so that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you don't have any understanding of Judaism, or if you live in a particular sect of Orthodoxy, but every denomination ordains women, including Orthodox.
And the path for somebody relatively new to the faith, who's a woman, to becoming a rabbi, is that you had a lot of help along the way, or how was that a difficult road? Or
no, I mean, becoming a rabbi or clergy, a Jewish clergy person, and I can't speak for other religions, but it's an academic route. You apply to an ordination program, which is accredited. Most of them are accredited today, not all. And I went to an accredited one. In fact, the top schools in the country are all accredited, and so you apply. And you're applying for two things. One, to make sure that you can do the academic stuff, but also your fitness for the rabbinate. Because in non-Orthodox setting, the title can never be taken away. And so there's more to the interview process than whether or not you can do academic work.
So after the study, is there an apprenticeship, for lack of a better word?
No, so like Christians, to my understanding, and I'm really sorry if I get this wrong, they go to school, and then they come out and they have to do some kind of internships. Rabbinical school is longer, and it's all done when you are graduating, you're ordained, you're ready to go to work. Yeah, but there are internships in school, but not afterwards.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
And, well, we want to follow down your life path here in a minute, but of course we are a music songwriter show. So if you'd be so kind to share some more with us.
Yeah. No, I don't mind the questions because I do wear the title everywhere. All right. So this song I actually wrote while I was living in Israel. And I went to a program that involved listening to Palestinians. And I was really touched and heartbroken from what I heard. So I went home and I wrote this song. It was probably one of the first songs I've actually ever wrote. It's a protest song. It's a song about peace. There are some Hebrew words in here that I do translate. Oseh shalom b'emramav hu yaseh shalom. Oseh shalom b'emramav hu yaseh shalom. May the one who makes peace from heaven above, we say, Hu Yaseh Shalom. I am human and I am free. Watch me fly above the trees, 'cause you can hear my cry and you can hear my roar, but you can't take away my soul. Oh, say shalom b'emramav hu yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom b'emramav hu yaseh shalom. May the one who makes peace from heaven above, we say, Hu Yaseh Shalom. And listen carefully. We'll fight and we'll cry and we'll even abide and we'll say goodbye just to stay alive, and the day will come to have dignity again. Oh, say shalom say shalom. Oh, say shalom. Bemramav. Oh, yeah, say shalom. May the one who makes peace from heaven above. We say, oh, yeah, say shalom. I am human and I am free. Watch me fly above the trees. Oh, yeah, say shalom. Thanks. One thing I forgot to say is that all of the English were actual quotes from people. So.
Interesting. Tell us a little more about that trip and your experiences, and you said it was, I guess, fairly powerful experience.
Yeah. So as far as I know, I think all or almost every rabbinic program requires a year of study in Israel. That can be dwindled down, as it was for me. So I spent a semester in Israel, and I had a lot of experiences on that trip, but most of it was study. Like, I spent a lot of time studying. And but this trip that was with an organization called Encounter that helps, I think it might just be American Jews, have a better understanding of the Palestinian experience. And it's a listening tour. So Palestinians are doing all the talking, and Jews are listening. And so to hear stories from marginalized individuals, which to me often sounded a lot like many of the same experiences that Black people talk about in this country, was really, really heartbreaking. And I didn't know what to do with it, so I went home and I wrote this song.
Well, it was really interesting listening to that song because there was clearly an intersection between all the lives that you lead and all of the presentations you make to the world.
Yeah.
When you write music, how often does your sacred self intersect with your musical self? Is it always? Is it sometimes? Or
It's pretty much all the time. Like, even if there's no Hebrew in it, or even if it seems like I was working on this blues song earlier today, and from an outside perspective, you might not believe it has anything to do with Judaism, but Judaism is all about relationships, and so it's sort of a funny blues song about a relationship that went bad.
right?
We've never had songs like that here before.
Oh, not ever. Nope. No, do you ever, is it hard for you to tell stories that are not your own? Or are you able to distance yourself and be like, no, I'm going to tell this story that I haven't really lived myself?
I don't usually, I'm trying to think. I'm not one for writing other people's stories. But I can remove myself, and I can write about myself, but remove myself so it doesn't necessarily seem about me.
Right.
But this one though, like I had taken note. The one I had taken notes, and I took all those notes and turned them into a song. So even though it's about other people's experiences, it's basically me witnessing their experience.
Well, we would love to hear more witnessing. Will you play us another song?
Sure. Let's see. Okay. Sad song. I don't know what. Okay.
I'm getting from this that we have a lot of good songs ahead of us to choose from.
Okay. This is not the happiest song, probably.
We've never heard the sad song in this studio, have we, Kirk? Ever.
Except for the murder ballads.
Except for
a
lot of those.
But.
All
Yeah.
right. So I have like a lot of people have mom issues, and so I have some sad songs so this song was like therapy for me, and I actually wasn't able to sing it for a while, but I have a lot of mom songs. And one is happy. Okay. started that too fast. Mama, I can't help but cry tonight, and I'm wondering if you'll be alright. And I'm waiting for things to change, and I've been waiting a long time, because time doesn't stand still. When I was young, I didn't understand the pain of your life, and now I'm old and wise, and the distance is too far now, 'cause we've grown so far apart. Because time doesn't stand still. I can't pretend anymore everything is fine, 'cause I've been lying to my friends and my wife that everything is fine, when we know it's not. Because time doesn't stand still. I've spent so many years hiding from you, and yes, I know it's time to tell the truth. And I've been waiting for things to change, and I've been waiting a long time, because time doesn't stand still. I can't pretend anymore everything is fine, 'cause I've been lying to my friends and my wife that everything is fine. We know it's not, because time doesn't stand still. My dad might be listening. I don't know. He's never heard that song before. So he's like, what happened? Anyway.
Everybody, speaking of listening, our show, the audio is being streamed, as always, on WHUPFM.org. But we, over the last 3 or 4 years now, Kim, you and Bob have been setting up streaming video for us. And everybody, we know you want to tune in and see the video as well as the audio with Rabbi Sandra Lawson. Go to Facebook, Pass the Hat. The video is streaming live right now.
Yes, we've got it on Facebook, Whoop Pass the Hat, and also on YouTube, and it will be housed there for all eternity or until they go out of business. And then for 2 weeks on Twitch, if you're a Twitcher. Like, I don't know who those people are, but
wow.
yeah.
So all these shows, the audio and the video, are archived for all time except for Twitch.
Except for Twitch.
That's why it's called Twitch, because
they're twitchy like that, I guess.
Sandra, back in your community growing up in St. Louis, what kind of music influenced you?
So my dad had a very eclectic musical taste, and we had albums. They were in this little like case, this like nightstand, not nightstand, but like side table. Back in the 70s, 80s, where like furniture was just big.
Wasn't it that? Yeah, we had one of those also.
Like one of those like big stereos.
It had a
was,
TV
like,
in the middle and the stereo.
And there was always a bar in the television if you were really
yeah.
lucky.
But I have memories of pulling out albums of CCR and Aretha Franklin and Johnny Pride,
Charlie Pride.
Charlie Pride, thank you, Johnny Cash, and I remember, my dad would make home movies, and like the soundtrack to these like silent home movies was the Oak Ridge Boys, which is not a cool thing when you're listening, like having like the Oak Ridge Boys. But I remember when I had that moment when I realized that the music my dad was listening to might not be cool, because I was in a car with my friends, and my mom or one of my parents was driving us somewhere, and there was like something was on, the Oak Ridge Boys, and I was just in the back seat singing it, and my friends are like, "You know that?" I was like, and then after that I stopped listening. I went to pop radio for a period of time, and my mom, was not a musical person, but I always knew when her and my dad were having a fight because she would be in the kitchen singing, "I shot the sheriff."
Okay. Well, we got our murder ballad.
We knew it was coming.
They're divorced. They're divorced, but also, you know, like she also listened to like Aretha Franklin and all that, and so I just didn't realize until later, or especially now when only 3 people own all the prominent radio stations.
Yep.
You know, there were stations that played everything, or that you could easily find different stuff. You know,
And how about playing guitar and songwriting? When did that enter your life?
I talked to a friend of mine today. She might be listening. Her name is Ellen Allard, and she's a wonderful Jewish musician. And we were talking. She was asking me the same thing, like, when did this guitar thing happen? And I said some stuff. She said, "That's a song right there. You know that." So I've always had a guitar. Like I remember like having this fascination for guitar and being in my living room with, you know, the hairbrush or whatever and singing. And I took a few lessons, but they didn't get in my brain right. It didn't. And then while I was in the military, I went to a pawn shop and got a guitar. And then I took more lessons, but it still didn't stick. And then when it started to stick, I wouldn't sing in front of people. So I have friends that have known me for like 30 years. And they're like, "Sing." I'm like, I would like play and my mouth would not open.
It's a little hurdle to get over.
But honestly, the rabbi thing kind of opened up some stuff because as Rabbi Joshua Heschel of blessed memory would has said very famously, the prayer is a song. So if you ever have the chance to go to a Jewish service, it's all singing.
Yep.
You know, there's lots of reasons for that. But, you know, you have to sing all this stuff. So I got more and more comfortable with singing. And also sort of singing in that sort of leading thing. Because when I was in the military, I had to sing also in leading. And that's being a leader doing it to me was very different than just sitting around playing. That was very intimidating. And at some point, I just sort of got over myself. And now I have a collection of instruments.
Well, yeah, we were saying that you did not bring the pawn shop guitar here tonight.
No, I was going to say that was
brought
not pawn shop.
A beautiful Gibson guitar. You mentioned that was relatively new to you?
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds great, doesn't it, Kim?
It's beautiful, and you play it really well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm admiring the way you both strum and finger pick while you play the song. It's very confident.
Yeah, that was a COVID project. Learning how to finger pick was a COVID project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darn, I meant to do that, but
I know. I was so busy, you know, avoiding COVID. Well, we'd love to hear another one.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to sing another song. I have about my mom, so that to sort of.
Can I just say you have a willing audience right here. Like, I'm listening very carefully to what you're singing. Heal me.
Okay. I was fortunate enough to. My parents were very different people, which is probably why their marriage didn't last. But they're wonderful people, but different with their own set of challenges. And my mother instilled in me to never let anyone tell me that I could not do something. And my dad is someone who dared me to dream. Just dream. And, you know, was more of the lover, hugger, and my mom was like the disciplinarian. So I wrote a song about that. And I always dedicate this to women and girls and grandmothers and sisters and people raising female-identified children. When I was young, my mama said to me. When I was young, my mama said to me. She said, "You can be anything you want to be." So I joined the U.S. Army so I could fight for my country, because I can be anything I want to be. Then I got me a graduate degree. Now I'm a rabbi, look at me. because I can be anything I want to be. When I was young, my mama said to me, when I was young, my mama said to me, she said, you can be anything you want to be. So one day I said to my daughter what my mama said to me, and she looked into my eyes and she said, I will be anything I want to be, because you could be anything you wanted to be. Thank you.
I texted my daughter during that song, said, turn it up. I don't know if she did or not. I love hearing that as a person raising a daughter who she is a teenager now. She has also chosen a very interesting path, and I don't know if it's going to be lifelong, but she is one of very few young women who is pursuing firefighting
Great.
and EMT work at the school where she goes. It's a program that's offered. And she started a summer camp this year that was for girls. It's called Camp Ignite in Chapel Hill. And it focuses on girls and female identifying people who wish to be firefighters. I mean, that's a rare thing. So I am so hungry to hear songs like that.
Yeah.
We need more local songs like that, telling our girls, yep, all the pathways are open. It's so powerful to hear. I love that.
Although my mother, who passed away, but she would joke when I told her I was going to be a rabbi, and she's like, baby, because she's very Southern, baby, you're a smart woman. Why don't you be a lawyer, a doctor? Then when I finished, she's like, how long have you been in school? You could have been a doctor or a lawyer by now. But she was very proud of me. So.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be proud of. Do you mind telling us, did music enter your life? Was it part of your life when you were in the military? Like, we've got a rabbi who've been in what have you not done is what we're saying. But how was music part of your life in the military?
It's interesting because, like, you know, to move from point A to point B as an enlisted person, you sing. And if you're a sergeant in the military, you sing from one point to another as you march and step. And I always like that. Or as you run and step, or whatever. I always like that. And I always found wonderful songs to sing or wanted to learn songs. And I spent most of my time in the military in the South and also in South Korea. So it was kind of weird.
Wow.
South and South Korea. In my memory, I just remember listening to a lot of country songs, actually. A lot. Like that's when I learned to love Reba McEntire, and a few other people like Garth Brooks. That's when Garth Brooks was really big.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, I couldn't be out in the military, so I also listened to a lot of Melissa Etheridge. I mean, I was out, but not out.
Oh, that's right, because it was during the days of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yeah, and I actually enlisted before Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was out to my parents, so, like, I was out to everybody. Then I decided to join the military, and I remember my dad said to me, I remember in my memory, we had this conversation as he was coming out of the kitchen, and he said that, like, you will find people like you in the military, and you know you have to keep your mouth shut for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he told me, like, he said there's gay people in the military back then. Like, he's like, and people telling people that they're not was just stupid.
Everybody, we're having a wonderful time tonight with Rabbi Sandra Lawson. Learn all about Sandra, rabbisandralawson.com.
Yes.
And we are past the hat. This is the top of the hour, and we are required by the powers that be to say,
find us.
This is WHUP-LP Hillsborough, Kim, and we are very fortunate to have an Hour 2 sponsor.
We are so excited. You now get to be our spokesmodel.
Oh.
You get to serve many roles tonight.
Okay.
So
Hi.
there's a box to your right there.
Okay.
This was put together by Matthew's Chocolate.
Wow.
Matthew himself and I chose these one by one. And it is a delicious all dark chocolate, mixed with all kinds of savory and sweet goodies. Matthew's Chocolates on Churton Street, I believe. I would think it's 104 Churton Street. It's like kitty corner across the street from the radio station. Matthew is here to meet all of your chocolate needs. He has all of your chocolate accessories, all of your chocolate stuff. He has sorbet, gelato, cookies. Let me try to think. He has some things I can't pronounce. And soon the truffles are coming.
Oh, the truffles are coming. The truffles are coming.
Yeah, and
no, that's the Russians.
Basically.
Well, they're
same.
coming too.
Yeah, they're coming too. They're all coming. But go to Matthew's. The cabinet is full. The display cases are full of, he's got the milk chocolate, he's got the savories, the sweets.
Wow.
He can do customs. Hot chocolate is coming too. And Sandra, let me tell you, you have to try the hot chocolate. Get the Aztec and or the Mexican because they're different.
Okay.
And he uses real choca instead of just like random mix.
Yeah.
So good. And he makes his own marshmallows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're here for that. Thank you, Matthew, for your sponsorship.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoy the chocolate.
We will.
Yeah, and as we lucked out tonight because you said you're a vegan, and luckily we got some vegan chocolate in that box. So that was
That's
a lucky
awesome.
stab for all of us. Yeah.
Sandra, something I would like to talk about something.
Sure,
if we
go
could.
for it.
Just when we think we're entering a time of enlightenment, we then find ourselves immersed in what we have today. And so as a faith leader, and for those who are struggling with faith and life, these are troubled times. We seem to have hate has welled up and ignorance surrounds us. Can you give us some hope?
Yeah, I think that, I have a lot of thoughts about that as I get them in my head. And I spend a lot of time writing and having conversations in my professional career about these things. And not in any particular order. I mean, one of the challenges of today is when, if you all remember, during COVID, we were on our screens and, doing stuff online, which is all fine, and it filled the void. But as soon as everybody was able to interact in person, many people had this sort of euphoric, like, oh my God, I love you, like extra. And the online world makes it easy for people to vilify each other. It makes it very easy to not be able to talk across difference and because everything is political, because we have political parties and everything has become politicized. People are sort of instructed to hate groups of people that they've never actually interacted with. I mean, I had a conversation the other day about the attacks on trans people, and I'm like, how many of your average people actually interact with trans people on a regular basis and have bad experiences? But people are told to hate them and told things. And when you interact with people in person, those things go away. You listen, you learn. And I had a young person ask me, well, how do I convince my friend to believe the way I do? And I said, you should never approach conversations like that. The thing that gives me hope as a Black queer woman and who has professionally been in several roles that were traditionally seen by men as men doing those things, there are more people today on my side of the fence than ever before. And the people who spout a lot of this hate rhetoric are actually a minority. There are more people today that support queer people, more people support same-sex relationships than ever before. And that is telling in the direction that our society is going. And that's what actually gives me hope. It's just unfortunate that people who aren't on the same side are very loud, and some of those people have very big megaphones. And there are a lot of progressive Christians out there that don't speak the same rhetoric as some of the evangelical folks that are on the other side. And there's a larger religious community when you incorporate Jews and Muslims and Christians and Buddhists and all those people that whose views are more in line with the people in this room than outside of that. So that gives me hope.
Thank you so much for that. It gives me hope too, just to hear you talk.
And there's a greeting from the socials on our page. It says, "Enjoying your perspective, Lashana Tova, Sandra."
Oh, yeah.
So
thank you. Yeah. We've got a lot of there's Modim L'Simcha Sukkot. There's Gid Yontif. There's Shana Tova. There's Shabbat Shalom, which is we're in Shabbat right now. So yeah, a lot of wonderful greetings.
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
will you play us another beautiful song?
I will. So I'm going to sing A Blessing of Gratitude since we were.
Oh, right on.
But this is actually, it's a song, it's a blessing that's actually said in the morning, but I turned it into a song. And it's, since we are entering Shabbat, and I want to sort of fill this place with just more gratitude and love. So just reminding, I think it reminds us to approach the world with gratitude. Okay. I'm trying to think if this is the right key. Okay. Every morning when I awake, I thank you for another day. I give thanks to you, my God, for you have restored my soul to me. As I start the beginning of my day, I thank you for the joy you bring. And I know you'll be with me all the way, with compassion, mercy, and grace. Modani lefanecha ruecha v'hayam. Modani lefanecha ruecha v'hayam. Shezarta bi nishmati b'chemcha rabba emunatet
My research, if you will, to prepare for your visit, I looked for your music, and I found a lot of the stuff that I believe it was you on Spotify.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I hope so.
Yeah, well, right. Like how many? There are a lot of rabbis just swinging
Right,
from the
yeah,
rafters. But I listened to all of it, and I have to say I was not raised in the Jewish faith, and I did have to look up things to understand. Okay, what is it that I'm listening to? And I wanted to know what made you, because it takes steps, like it is work to record the music, write the music, and then put it out there for public consumption. And so what motivated you to put your music out there on Spotify? And it sounds great, by the way. If y'all are listening, y'all got to check it out when the show's over.
Thank you for that, because those were home recordings. And actually, I'm working with somebody now to do more professional stuff. What motivates me, as with anything, is I want to learn something. And I got in my head a few years ago, how does music get on Spotify or any of these other platforms? And I didn't know anything about recording music at all. And like it was so bad. Like I would do the song, and if I made one mistake, I started all over. Like I just didn't know.
Oh, I think that's everybody. So many perfectionists.
No, I know that you don't have to, like, if you have the right equipment, you don't actually have to do that.
Oh yeah, that's
and
true.
I also did the voice and the guitar all at the same time. So I really just wanted to know how it was done, and I wanted to see if that was possible. And so I did. I recorded initially like 3 songs and put them up there, and they stayed up there for a while. They're still there.
They're still there?
Yeah, and then a few years later, I recorded some more, but I actually took them down because I didn't like the way they sounded at all. But then I had this fellowship with Interfaith America, and the fellowship asked me to make media. So I had these other songs, and so my media, I always make things more complicated because really all I had to really do, if I really wanted to, was just write something. But I actually took some of those songs, recorded them online and then did a video, made videos for them, and then wrote about them and then sent those in as my project. So the next wave of songs, is I learned a little bit more, but still not as much. And so that's, yeah, basically. And also the other piece is there's not a lot of, at the time, not a lot of liturgical Jewish music by American Jews of color. And I was like, I was trying to, like, by putting it out there, sort of shift the algorithm of Jewish music a little bit.
So this latest recording, you said that you're working with somebody, and is there a plan to release this as a project or something?
Yeah, we're on the slow train. Like, cause there's, like, I just am not, I can't be in a studio for hours at a time and get it done like that. So we work like once a week when we can.
Good.
About an hour and a half or something. And, we've laid tracks. That's a new language I've learned, for about 10 songs. And then I did the vocals for most of them. And then we're going to add other instrumentals. So I hope that it'll be done by the end of the year.
Nice thing about music these days, and Kim, we've had this conversation before, that we still think about like a record, or meaning 10 or 12 songs, and maybe pressed into a CD or something, and all at once. But the technology in Spotify enables us to sort of feed out the completed works over time, and that seems to be an increasingly popular way of doing things.
It really is, because it's accessible to everybody, and it makes the music immediately accessible. I'm so interested. Like, everything you say and sing, I'm just like, more. Can you play us another one?
Yeah. Also, I did record a song for the holidays a few days ago. I mean, not a few days, but like right before Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
So that's a newer thing out there, because I wanted it out there for people to hear something different, a different take on a classic song.
Very cool.
Okay, so all right, just another mom song. My mother passed away in 2020, and so I started the song. Well, my mom was actively dying for a while, and I got a call from my brother, and he's like, "You need to get here now." And so Susan and I got in the car, and I started the song in my head on the 12-hour road trip, and then I finished it after she passed away. So, okay. Driving down that road, I saw memories of you and I. Sorry. Let me start over. The capo's weird. Okay. Driving down that road, I saw memories of you and I. It seems so far, now we must say goodbye. You always had a difficult life. I saw so much pain inside. Sometimes I wonder what might have been, and I know that wasn't. Driving down that road, I saw memories of you and I. It seems so far, now we must say goodbye. At your bedside, thinking things were alright. Tell me about that time before, when food was no more. And I know that was then. Driving down that road, I saw memories of you and I. It seems so far. Now we must say goodbye. Tell me just this once what life was like for you. And you took your last breath, and now I'll never know. And I know that was then. Driving down that road, I saw memories of you and I. It seems so far. Now we must say goodbye. Sometimes I see myself as a child. I see so much pain inside. I never got to know you, but I stood by you. And I knew that was then. Driving down that road, memories of you and I. It seems so far. Now we must say goodbye.
Sandra Lawson. You had shared with us, Sandra, that you started that song on the way to see your mom, and then you finished it after she passed. And we like to talk with songwriters about their process, which varies person to person. And so, for you to do songs over time like that, and to let them develop, is that your common way of doing it, or do they oftentimes just come out, wham, there it is?
I don't. Yeah, I committed this year to writing more songs, and I probably have the worst practice around writing songs. I often will write songs sitting in the living room with the TV on, watching, and but what I often do is if I have an idea or a chord progression. If I like the chord progression, I'll record it and put it on like a memo, and then at some point I just start working around words, and then I'll work on that a little bit, and it goes in a folder on Google Docs. It says songs in progress. There's another folder that says finished songs, and at some point they'll move, and sometimes, like when I'm trying to be creative, I will go back in that progress folder and finish a song.
So at that point, it maybe doesn't end up where you thought it was going to.
No, no.
And
I mean
that's kind of some of the fun of it.
Yeah, and I like to because you can track the history of. I like to go back and look to see when I started it. And if I start to take it a different direction, I just make a copy of it and put it somewhere else. But I still have songs that I really want to finish, but I can't right now. They're just not, the words aren't coming.
Well, I think it's wise not to push it, because you can break something just as easily as nurture it along. And Kim, for you, do your songs kind of sit there and you let them take their own course, or do you force them?
I do not force, because I have done that before as a younger person, and it usually either didn't turn out well for my own mental health and well-being, or it didn't turn into good art. Just didn't sound nice. Do you do it? You don't do it, Kirk, do you?
No, I try and think as little about the song as I can and just let it have its own
automate
voice.
It.
And I enjoy having them sit around for a while and find their own path, and it seems somewhat mystical, but I in a way think sometimes songs are there if you just let them be themselves. And that's and then when they surprise you, that's part of the fun of being a songwriter.
It is. Well, we probably have time for, I'd say, 2 more songs. So can we have another one?
Yeah, I'm gonna sing one that finished itself, and I'm still working on it. But it moved out of the songs in progress folder, but it's done. I think it's a bit long for me, but this didn't take long to write. Although I don't know, I remember the first time I played it in front of people was last year this time, and I think I finally got it to where I want it to be like now. But it didn't take long. Although the mom song about You Can Be Anything also didn't take long, but people. I get questions a lot online about faith, and there's a lot of folks out there that are Jewish that feel like they could be better Jews or they're not doing it right or whatever, and I try to reassure them that they're fine. And so I wrote this song to sort of respond to some of that. Okay. Oh no, this actually is I remember. I also don't read music, so it's sometimes I don't get the key right. And also I don't have my voice, depending on the time of day, changes. Okay. What does faith mean to you? I'm asking for the truth. Sometimes life is so hard. We don't know what to do, but I'm telling you, faith is when you walk in a room and you're not sure why you're there, and you see an old friend and she asks you where you've been. Now the world seems to care, but I'm telling you, faith is when they tell you no. Faith is when you have to go to find your own path in life. Means going down a different road, but you're not sure where it ends. But I'm telling you, faith is when they tell you no, but you keep going your own way. Then you look down the street and see a light. You know that you were always right. Now look at you. Faith is when you're lost and alone, just trying to find your way home. Look down the street and see a guiding star, showing you that you're not far. Oh, I believe in you. So when the road, so when faith, oh my gosh, okay, hold on. Faith is when the road is rough and you feel like you've had enough, but you take a step despite the pain, knowing that there's strength to gain. Oh, I believe in you. So when the world feels cold and gray, remember the light will stay. Have faith through night and day for a brighter, stronger day. Oh, I have faith in you. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, I dug it.
Enjoyed that. Everybody, we've been here enjoying our time with Rabbi Sandra Lawson tremendously. Sandra, Eric over at Eric Pruitt
Oh,
over
he's
at
great, yeah.
Yonder. He was so excited to hear you're going to be on the show tonight. Are you planning to play out anywhere anytime soon where people can join you?
I don't. I have some farmers markets gigs coming up.
Good.
I don't remember off the top of my head, and I play what I hope to be regularly at Lanza's Cafe in Carver.
Oh, in Carver, yeah.
Very
I've
cool.
done that twice,
Good.
so I can come back.
Excellent.
Nice.
I'm looking for more places to play. And that's the thing. Like this is a relatively new path, and so I used to just sit on my couch and make my wife listen to all my songs, to hearing them over and over and over
Best
again.
best seat around. Well, everybody, as we told you earlier, this show, the video and the audio have been recorded. Video will be out there on YouTube. Just look for @Pass the Hat, and the audio, as all of our shows here at WHUP, WHUPFM.org. We have dozens of fine shows on all sorts of different topics, different types of music, and they've been archived for the last 8 years. So a wealth of interesting things from interesting people. And Sandra, have time for one more if you'd be so kind.
Thank you. So back in the day, I was, a louder activist, and during the pandemic, when there were lots of people protesting in the streets, and I was in the kitchen. I think I was making breakfast, and I had this moment where, why am I not doing enough at this moment? And I had this weird conversation with myself, like, what's wrong with you? You actually have a job that supports this stuff. You're just in a different stage in your life where you support this stuff differently. And so I wrote a song about that. And I don't even remember the process of it. I think it just sort of came about. And it's just like a conversation, I think, with being an older activist. Here we go, my friend, traveling down that road once again. It's been so long since we've been together, and I know you'll be with me till the end. Remember when we were young and free, and the world just let us be. Now we're old and time has come, remembering our days with glee. So here we go, my friend, traveling down that road once again. It's been so long since we've been together, and I know you'll be with me till the end. We may be old, but we can't sit this out, 'cause there's so much work to do right now. Because the young need us, and we'll be there, and we'll be there till the end. So here we go, my friend, traveling down that road once again. It's been so long since we've been together, and I know you'll be with me till the end. Yeah, here we go, my friend, traveling down that road once again. It's been so long since we've been together, and I know you'll be with me till the end. Thank you.
You all have been listening to The Fearless, one of a kind. Go out and find more about her, the Rabbi Sandra Lawson. You will be playing at area farmers markets, so pay attention, y'all. Go out on the socials, go find her out there. And at this time, we're going to shut down the live stream, so wave goodbye to the camera.
Bye, everybody.
But don't go away, listeners. Just move on over to WHUPFM.org. Keep on listening, because we're going to see. I got to stretch my body. So hold on just a second here. Kirk, you have to fill